It's a Sunday night, and you're at the kitchen table with your phone in one hand and a mug going cold in the other. You're doing the thing you do at the end of every month now. Scrolling the banking app, looking for the mistake. Because there has to be a mistake. 2 decent incomes come into this house. Nobody's been reckless. Nobody bought a jet ski. And yet the number at the bottom of the screen is smaller than it was this time last year, and you cannot point at the thing that took it. Tonight, I want to answer the question you keep almost asking out loud. Why does a respectable income no longer buy a comfortable life? Because the British middle class, the teachers, the engineers, the NHS managers, the households everyone calls comfortable, is quietly going broke. Not dramatically, not in a way that makes the news. Slowly, politely, in direct debits. Stay with me, because by the end you'll know exactly where your house stands and exactly which 3 leaks are draining it. First, check this is you. If your household brings in somewhere between £30,000 and £65,000, you are the middle of Britain. A couple with 2 kids on about £50,000 between them, that's the dead centre. Sound like your street? Good. Then this is your story. Start with leak number 1, the one you can't see from inside a single month. British wages effectively stalled a long time ago. In early 2008, the average British worker took home £515 a week in today's money. Then the crash came. Pay fell, and everyone waited for the recovery that was always coming next year. It took 13 years, until 2021, just to get back to where 2008 left off. Today the number is 531. £16 of progress in 18 years. And if pay had just kept plodding along the way, it did before the crash. Nothing spectacular. Just the ordinary rate your parents took for granted. The average worker would be on about £260 a week more than they are now. That money isn't lost. It was never paid. Every bill you're about to see landed on people standing in that lower water. Leak number 2 arrived in your hallway. A letter came last year, or maybe it's still coming this year. The mortgage letter. You knew roughly what it would say, and you opened it anyway, at the kitchen counter, still in your coat. For a typical household coming off a cheap fix, that letter said £170 more, every month, for the house you already live in. If your mortgage is around £250,000, the move from 2021 rates to today's is more like £440 a month. And the letter didn't come alone. The council tax went up again, 3rd year running. The energy bill settled at about £800 a year more than before the crisis, and everyone just accepted it. The car insurance renewal jumped, and you clicked accept because you didn't have an evening free to fight it. None of these felt like an emergency on its own. That's the design. But add them to the mortgage, and the ordinary version of that stack costs about £5,100 a year more than the same life cost a few years ago. Nothing new. No upgrade. The same house, the same car, the same fridge. The same life, £5,000 dearer. So you did the sensible thing. You pushed for a pay rise, and you got one. And that's when leak number 3 opened, the one almost nobody clocks. You never really felt that rise. The point where you start paying 40% tax has been stuck at £50,270 since 2021, and it's now frozen until 2031. If it had moved with inflation, it would be nearly £65,000 by now. So your pay rise didn't lift you. It walked you deeper into a tax band designed for someone richer than you. 2 million more people have been walked into that band in the last 3 years, without a single tax rise ever being announced. And if you're on £60,000 with 2 kids, between the tax and the child benefit clawback, you keep about 40 pence of every extra pound you earn. You did the overtime. The overtime mostly didn't reach you. Those are the 3 leaks. Everything else is where the water ends up, because the squeeze has to land somewhere, and it lands on the things you were quietly building. It lands on the rainy day account. Remember when you used to top it up without thinking? If you've got £10,000 sitting in an ordinary savings account paying about 1%, inflation has eaten roughly £1,900 of it since 2021. Nearly a fifth of your buffer, gone, without a single withdrawal. It lands on the pension you don't look at. The average late 40s pot is around £40,000. Add the full state pension, and that buys a retirement of about £14,000 a year. The official minimum living standard is £13,900. That is what I'll sort it later is currently on course to buy. And it lands on the thing your parents did for you that you might not get to do. In 1990, more than half of 25 to 34-year-olds owned a home. Today it's 1 in 3, and the average first deposit is £61,000. The ladder didn't get harder to climb. The bottom rung got sawn off. And here's the sentence that ties the whole night together. Just to absorb that £5,000 squeeze, a higher rate taxpayer needs a pay rise of nearly £9,000 gross. The official forecast for real wage growth for the rest of this decade, about £100 a year. 9,000 needed, 100 coming. That's why the credit card is creeping up. That's why 1 in 4 adults has used credit for essentials, not holidays. Groceries. Now, none of this can be explained by overspending alone, and it can't be fixed by skipping coffees either. But you're not helpless, because every leak has a tap, and finding yours takes one evening. 3 checks. 1. Your mortgage refix date, the single most expensive date in your diary. Know it, and start comparing months before it, not weeks. 2. Your real marginal tax rate, especially between 60 and 80 grand with kids, because pension contributions at that level are one of the few ways to stop that extra income disappearing into tax. 3. The actual interest rate your savings are earning, and the actual number your pension is heading for. 10 minutes each. Most people never look, which is exactly why the drain works so quietly. So go back to the kitchen table. Sunday night, the mug going cold. There was never a mistake in the banking app. Nobody in this house did anything wrong. The money left through 3 slow leaks, wages that stalled in 2008, a life that repriced itself 5 grand higher, and thresholds that stopped moving while your payslip grew into them. Slowly, politely. Indirect debits. You can't fix all of it. Some of it was never in your hands. But you can see it now. And earning more helps, of course it does. But the households that come through this decade in decent shape won't just be the ones that earned the most. They'll be the ones that saw the mechanism. Nobody was ever going to send you a letter about this one. Consider this the letter.